Tak jo, tak jdem na to.
Okay, nevím. Hello everyone. I just want to check with you that that you all see my screen share and that you can make it large enough so that you can actually read what's on there.
We can.
Great. In that case, I think we can start. I'm hopefully doing the recording, as I mentioned in the chat, so that you can go back to the explanations a bit later. So we have basically 5 points in the criteria that we will be, well, the judges will be judging on, and they will give you points and then select together teams that did the best. The 5 points are, in simple terms, if the idea you propose makes sense, if it's in anyhow useful, if it's usable, if it's actually doable, if you can make it sustainable, and if it innovates anything. To explain those a bit more, whether the idea makes sense, by that we mean if there is actual need for your idea, for your concept, or whatever you end up coming up with, so that you don't just create technology for the sake of technology, but that there are actual people that need your product, service, or whatever your concept is about. You need to be able to show us that that's the case. The second point, if it's usable, that's 2 things. One is technical and the other one is from user experience perspective. So the technical part is about if you would build the thing, if it actually works, if you have a prototype, if it's doing anything technically. And the UX part is about if what you are proposing is, first off, easy to use, but also not just from the perspective of UI, but if you propose processes and different flows for the users to navigate through, if those make sense and if the users will understand them. The third point, if it's doable, we don't expect that you propose ideas that you can finish in a week or so. So don't be afraid of that. But despite we want you to think big and go after big challenges, we want for you to think about how you could achieve those. So we want you to show us what would the path for you or anyone else be, how to get from the point of your idea to having something that you can deploy and then further improve and make it work in real life. In that ties the fourth point about sustainability, which is not just how it's used quite often as a buzzword for environmental sustainability, because in most of your cases, what will be more pressing or more important is financial and social sustainability. And that means if you can think about the ways how to make your idea work long term. And that basically means if you create your idea to a product or service and bring it to the world, can you make it be there forever without always asking for further funding or without breaking things? That's basically the definition of sustainability. Can you keep doing the thing or providing it until infinity if you take it to the extreme? And the last point is about how innovative your idea is. That means show us if it's completely new idea that you just came up during the weekend, if it's something that you are rehashing whatever others have been doing, or if you are building on top of something that's already existing, or whatever other approach you took to building or proposing something new. Show us what's the innovative part and what has already been there, potentially what you changed from another solutions to improve them. So those are what those points mean. By the way, if you want to ask about anything regarding those, just ask while I am talking so that you don't forget the question or the question doesn't get forgotten. In terms of how you will deliver us answers to those questions, we will provide you with a Google form that you will have to fill, where you will have fields to describe in a short paragraph each of those questions and answer them in text, where you will have to convince us that you actually know or you have a way to convince us that you thought through the thing and that it makes sense, and that your idea makes sense, it's usable, it's doable, it's sustainable, and that there is some form of innovation in it. On top of this form that will guide you through filling out the information, and we will post the form later during the afternoon today so that you can see it and prepare for it for tomorrow. We also want you to pitch us the idea in 3 minutes, like you would pitch for investors, or in case of you building the prototype inside of organization, how you would pitch it to your management or whoever who would need to give you go ahead with the idea. In that, you need to convince us that mostly that the idea makes sense and that you have a vision how to make it happen, and that's the two most important things that you need to show us in the pitch. In other words, why are you doing what you are doing? What is it that you are doing, and why should anyone else care that you are doing or creating that thing? So that's what you show us in the pitch. And I will be posting a few more videos probably about pitching, and there will be tomorrow morning a short workshop with Oliver about pitching so that you can potentially discuss your ideas for the pitch and have better idea how to make it great. And for everything that you fill in the form as answers to those 5 questions that make up the criteria, you need to make it so that you prove whatever you are saying is true, that it's not just something that you made up. So, for example, if you claim that your service is useful for this amount of people like that, you need to show us where did you come up to that claim, that it's not just made up claim that has no backing. So that means either you have some data that prove it, or you validated it by yourself by either talking to users or doing a survey or whatever. And that is from us to force you a little bit to validate your ideas, not just come up with an idea and expect it's the best idea ever. You need to try to break your ideas, and only if they survive this process, then they might be good ones that have a reason to exist. I see there is a question, is there a limited number of characters in the forums? Yes, there will be a limitation, because since we want to give you feedback and give you results by Sunday evening, we can read through infinite length of text, but it will not be like super short, but don't expect to write more than about a half page to each of the questions. Okay, any questions for the criteria or the way how you will submit?
Where do we post the video? Is there some platform or something else?
Yeah, you can post the video to YouTube or Vimeo. To us, you will just submit a link. So the key part is that wherever you post it, it needs to be public, and we need to be able to play it, because otherwise it's not submitted.
So I'll put a link in Google Forms.
Yes, the video will be as well. The Google form will ask for the link to the video as well.
Okay.
So you don't need to submit to us anything anywhere else other than the Google form that we will post later tonight.
My question was about the PowerPoint presentation. So are we required to prepare any presentation, or all the information that we will input in the form is enough?
Regarding presentation, the only presentation that you might need is for the pitch, and that's completely up to you, because we are not present in person in any space together. Your pitch will be recorded on a video, and if you want to just talk from on top of your head or with the presentation, that's completely up to you.
Okay, thank you. So the only information that we need to have is about these 5 aspects, right? The 5 aspects that are discussed here are the ones that we need to respond to.
Yes. Answering those questions is the compulsory part of the form. There will be in the form a place where you can submit any other creations of yours, meaning visuals, concepts, prototypes, whatever you build. But because we put this event together as an ideathon, it's more about you developing the idea, the concept, validating it, more than building the actual prototype. So prototype is something extra.
Okay, thank you for the information.
Yeah, you're welcome. Regarding the question about the materials, well, first off, if you are posting the video online on YouTube or Vimeo, it should be legal or according to whatever the platform's rules are. So you can't post there a video with the music that you don't have the rights to post. So that's one part of the question. If you are showing something that's that should be your creation, you shouldn't use something that's not your creation for that. So basically apply the creators' rights laws and rules to things that you use. So you need to have rights to use whatever you publish. Does that answer?
Andra, can you
I
be
have another question.
clear about the point too, how we can show technically, or can you be a bit more clear about the easy to usable part, the second point?
Yes. So the usable part is if you. Okay, let me give you an example. If you propose in, let's say, digitalization of some processes, then if you just take the process as it is now on paper and turn that into the exactly same process, but instead of paper, you are moving around PDF files, that's failing the usable criteria, because the process is still bullshit, but you just moved it to PDF, but you didn't solve anything. So that's kind of that's both technical and UX usability part. Does that example help a bit?
Yeah, I mean,
So,
pretty much. Yeah.
so if you are, it's slightly difficult to explain without
Yeah,
examples, but what we want you to is focus on, if you are creating something new, try to focus on how it will be used and whether that the way how you're proposing it to be used makes sense for the people who will be using it, even before you start creating prototypes. Because once you are at the stage of prototype, you start focusing on the UI, the visuals, and things like that, for example, and the underlying logic of, let's say, the app can be already flawed at that point, and no amount of UI tweaking can fix that if the logic is flawed in the first place.
yeah, got it.
Cool.
Got it.
I think someone was trying to ask something as well, but you started kind of at the same time, so.
That was me.
Okay.
Thank you. So, I was asking if after submitting the work in the form, if the judges would have the opportunity to ask us questions regarding our project.
To be honest, we haven't discussed that, but there is fairly short period of time between the deadline and the final ceremony where you will get the results. So at the moment, I would say no, but if we come to the conclusion that it's kind of good idea and we have a way how to do it, we will let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? If not immediately, I will for a bit give word to Sarah, who will tell you something about the judges themselves, and you can think about more questions during the time and ask at the end again. Sarah, it's you now.
For showing all this, and welcome everyone. Great to have you here. I hope that the hacking is going well. Don't forget to share juicy pictures from your hacking, because we want to see how you're getting along and also get to know you as people and what you're up to, so that we can build a community. Right, now to the practical things. We have a few judges. We've been kind of like keeping them under wraps a little bit, just so we A, don't scare you too much, and B, so that we have something cool to show you and reveal. given what Ondra just showed, remember the core of this hackathon. It's not to create a revolutionary algorithm. Like, although if you do that, then fantastic. It's to come up with an elegant, scalable, sustainable idea according to those 5 criteria that Ondra showed you, in order to be able to genuinely change something, not just digitalize it because that's the easiest thing to do, because digitalization is not always the answer, but to actually radically change the education system as we know it. The judges were picked accordingly, and there's a very healthy mix. You could call it a very multidisciplinary group. We have there's at the moment there's 10 of them, although because of the COVID restrictions and various traveling, there might be slightly more. So there'll be between 10 and 15 people judging you. They're all from different walks of life. So just to give you some examples, we've got Oliver, who actually won SpaceX's Hyperloop competition and is the founder of Hyperloop Manchester. So he'll be looking at it from both the student perspective, and like he's very young, so he'll be able to give you kind of those fresh eyes on like what that looks like. But he's also used to iterating a project in a very short space of time and creating something that has to work, otherwise people die, like in the case of Hyperloop. So he'll be taking that perspective. We also have Tomáš Mikolov. Tomáš, just to give you an example of where you might have seen his work without realizing, if you like Google Translate, then that's pretty much Tomáš's work, thanks to Word2Vec that he invented during his time at Google. He's one of the people that made recurrent neural networks work in the way that they do today. So things like deep learning and machine learning really went in leaps and bounds thanks to his work. So maybe like check out his article from 2013. I'll post it into the random channel on Slack. But he's there from the AI expertise. But he's strict, but he's very no bullshit. So he'll tell you from a technological perspective whether your idea has legs going forward. We also have Yemi. He's a bit of a like star and influencer here in the Czech Republic, but he's also done work with people like Kanye West. So he's very kind of international. Originally he's a choreographer, but he set up several very successful businesses, and he's now set up the Moonshot platform. The Moonshot platform is a multidisciplinary education platform that aims to basically connect people from all over the world, people who are change makers, innovators who want to change something, but don't basically find, as we do here at the hackathon, the current restrictions of the educational system and of society in general very straining. So he's creating a platform where people can hack continuously and continuously come up with ideas. He's the founder of the Anti-Panic Conference, so how to deal with COVID with the help of latest tech. So he'll, again, look at it from this kind of perspective. And we've got several other great mentors. One of them is, for example, building a stratospheric balloons, and they work with schools in order to be able to send these stratospheric balloons to space. So someone who's very involved in kind of decentralized project-based education. He'll be particularly focused on track 3, which is project-based learning. We also have Radek from Superface. Superface is a startup that is basically aiming to get rid of API integration in technology and replace it with a whole new system of integrating systems into one another. If you think about it properly, then like revamping the education system means also putting a lot of very old school systems together, like the databases that the Ministry of Education uses, and making sure that the data can actually flow between these entities. So again, Radek is someone who will be able to look at it from the data flow perspective. So we've got a massive scale of judges. We'll be publishing them later today. So look out for social media. Also look on the website where you'll have the final judge lineup. We'll give you some trivia about them, and we'll kind of introduce them briefly on social media. But it's going to be a lot of fun. And yes, Oliver says that he can confirm that no people have died during Hyperloop iterations, which is great. That's so far. No, I'm joking. No, everything's going to be fine. Oliver, thank you so much. It's great to have you on board. I'm Sarah. I remain here to help. I'll be on Slack, so definitely feel free to ping me. I'm also going to be tweeting a lot of memes on social media, so feel free to follow those. And good luck. Remember, we're here to change the world, so it's not an easy task, but I'm very proud that we're all in this together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah. So, Pavel, do you want to tell something?
Yeah, just not sure if you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, thanks, Sarah, for introduction of juries. And I would like to add that we have also great jurists from academia. We have Pavel Tvrdi, who actually founded Faculty of Information Technology at Czech Technical University, and he was a dean for many years. So he knows all the processes in academia, and this is like pretty important because you need also to reflect that in your thinking. And also we have Maria Bialikova from Slovakia. She has like very similar background. She served as a dean of Slovak Technical University and the Faculty of Information Technology in Bratislava. And recently, she co-founded KINIT Institute, which is basically like a research institute on AI mostly and other stuff. But she's also, working intensively with in the education segment, and the topics we are solving here is this is something that she's really interested in. So you will definitely get some feedback from her as well. And also, yeah, some people from like company perspective. We have Ondra Krajček, for example. I don't know if you know Ysoft company. It's one of the Czech startups which were able to scale up, using bootstrapping, external venture capital from 0 to 500 people. So this is also something that is interesting. And Ondřej, he works mostly with academic partners, so he is in intersection between like academia and company. So he knows a lot about how the processes are inefficient and what needs to be done to improve it.
Thank you, Pavel. So now I think it's time for every one of you to ask further questions if you have some. In the meantime, before you come up with the questions, I want to kind of give you a few points, and that is, with your ideas and proposals, think big. Don't shy away from big challenges or big ideas, but show us that you have an idea how to bring that big idea to life, that it's not just an idea, but it's a vision where you have an idea how to get it to reality. Don't be afraid that the plan how to make it real is not gonna stay the same. It will change. It will change many times if you try to do it, but that's the point. Iterate your idea, try to break it, and don't be afraid to fail. And Sarah will love this, but with anything you are making, there is one quote from Elon Musk, and that is, the best part is no part and best process is no process. So whatever you are making, make it that simple. So that's everything from us, and if you have more questions, feel free to ask.
And maybe while you're all preparing your enthusiastic questions, I would just like to invite you for the rest of the program today, and maybe recap what that's going to be. So we have. Let me just check real quick. We have a checkpoint coming up. Well, actually, no, sorry. First of all, we have at 5:30. There's an open door discussion. We've had a lot of requests from the outside that they want to join the discussion about education because people feel very passionate about it. So it's just going to be a very informal chat with the general public. If you want to join as well, that'd be great. It's going to be on Zoom. The link is in the UniHack calendar, but we'll also post it into the info channel. Then we have the checkpoint. The checkpoint's very, very important. Make sure that you turn up to that. We'll want to make sure that you're paired up with your mentors and that you, Ondra has explained everything. Again, please check the Slack channel. But 7 p.m. today, CET, is the checkpoint number 2. Then 7:30, I'll be talking about AI. So if you're really bored and you have nothing else to do, then feel free to join me here. And then finally, we've also put together a pub quiz and an after party and a networking session because we want you all to get to know each other, get to know the mentors, get to know the judges, and also get to know the general public and just hang out and have a good time because it's not all serious. So we'll be having that as well. And we'll, again, post it in the Slack channel and on the website. So we've got that left today. Any other questions, let us know. We're all online and we're just enjoy it. Have a good time. There's only one day left and the next UniHack is going to be next year. So make the most of it.
Speaking of the checkpoint in the evening, there is no need to be afraid that you need to prepare anything or whatever. The only thing that you need is to show up in the co-working space in Together. Mentors will be waiting there for you, and each of the teams needs to find a mentor. Talk to them a little bit about what you have at the moment. You will get some feedback, and in the end, just take a virtual selfie together so that you can show us that you actually talk to the mentors and you get the necessary feedback that will try to kill your idea. If there is nothing else that you want to ask, we are officially done here and you can get back to hacking.
Back to work. Take care, everyone. Bye. We're on Slack if you need anything.
See you in the evening.
Ciao.